Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Authentic Engagement Blueprint webinar. This is all going to be about how you can um, basically generate leads using LinkedIn, which is an awesome, amazing tool. I'm going to go through this very, very simply. Real quick about me. My name is Nathan Klug. I've been in the business industry, insurance industry for the past 15 plus years. My real focus, I had an agency, recruited thousands of agents in my past, and really then switched over to the marketing side because I realized that my passion was really about helping insurance agencies grow their business by leveraging and understanding what we call operational marketing, which basically is focusing on the internal systems of the business, not lead generation and things like that. And so that's really what my focus is. And so today, about every once a month or every month, depending on schedule and things like that, and things that we have going on, I host a educational workshop on different concepts and ideas that are going to help you grow your business. Now, yes, I apply this directly to the insurance space because that's the space that I know, but the principles and the concepts and ideas that I teach on can be applied to pretty much every industry. You just got to tweak and change around the content. Now, I will apologize real quick for my voice. It is I've been under the weather for the past couple days. I feel wonderful today. I was also at a conference last week and lost my voice out there. So if you hear a little bit weirdness in my voice, that's the reason why. But I'm going to power through, and we're going to make this nice, short, and sweet. Usually, I like to do these live, but we did not promote this one at all. But I still want to hold true to providing value to everyone that's out there. So this is all about how to generate leads using LinkedIn. I'm going to teach them what's called the Authentic Engagement Blueprint. This is something that I've learned over the years of using LinkedIn. I absolutely love LinkedIn as a tool. And we're going to walk through and talk a little bit about what this is. And we're going to do this very, very simply. By the end of this video, you are going to understand how you can use and implement a very simple strategy to generate your own conversations and your own leads on LinkedIn. I'm not talking about purchasing leads. I'm not talking about buying something or buying an automated platform or things of that nature. I'm talking about you generating your own conversations, which is really key in this day and age. So, the authentic engagement blueprint really focused on three things. It's a high touch personal approach to LinkedIn lead generation. It focuses on building trust and real conversations and stands apart from automated or AI based methods. It builds relationships, not just transactions. So, what I'm not going to do real quick is I'm not going to go through statistics about how powerful LinkedIn is or how underutilized it is or how many people on it and things like that. Those are all things you can find out really, really quickly just by Googling it. So all it is for you is if you are interested in generating leads using LinkedIn as a social media platform, this is going to be what you want to learn about. What I'll dive into next are going to be very simple steps of how to be able to go about doing that. Now, there are technically no tools that you need to be able to do this. You can do this all manually. The one tool that I would highly recommend that you utilize is LinkedIn Sales Navigator, and I would use the plus version, not the core version. And I'll talk a little bit about that a little while. And for anybody that's watching this, if you shoot me a comment or a direct message or things like that, I can get you a link where you'll get 2 free months of LinkedIn Sales Navigator. Um, I don't get any money from that. There's no difference. You can go straight to them. Usually, if you've never used the Sales Navigator, you can get 1 month free. Just by me sharing the link, I can get you an extra month free. So let me know if that's interesting to you. Send me a DM after you see some of the information. So let's jump into the concept. So number one that you need to do to make this strategy work is you need to optimize your LinkedIn profile. So I will go into a couple different examples and I will show you my LinkedIn profile as well. And I'll go through the components so that you can kind of see the difference in how most people use LinkedIn and how I use LinkedIn and why that's different. So let me switch over to my screen. But as you can see, the profile needs to clearly communicate who you help, how you help them, why someone should connect with you. So the profile centers are your banner image, your profile photo, your headline, and your about section. So let me flip over and I'm going to show you what mine looks like so that you can get an idea of some of those changes. So here's my profile. So number one, professional picture. Don't make it too goofy or anything like that. You don't have to go super professional. I mean, that's pretty professional on my side. But make sure you definitely have a picture in there that illustrates a little bit about who you are. Smile in the picture, things like that. Those are all super important things. Next thing is your banner image. So as you can see, my banner image has frustrated agents on the left side and happy people on the right side. So Blue Rocket Agency, the logo, stopping insurance agents from losing the business they didn't know they were losing. So you can see already in the banner image right away that you get an idea of what we do and how I help. Next one, this is also super important, is your tagline or your headline. It's right below your name. So I help. So this is a framework that you can use. I help insurance professionals. So I help whoever it is your target marketplace is. Stop and financial advisors stop losing the business they didn't know they were losing with our Lift marketing system. So who you help, their pain point, your solution. That's a very simple framework that you can use to be able to help them understand what their target marketplace is all about. So I help insurance professionals and financial advisors stop losing the business they didn't know they were losing with our Lift marketing system. So again, because I want to make sure that everyone gets this, it's who you help, so your target marketplace, their pain point, what they're struggling with, and then what your solution is. Those are the frameworks for your tagline. And for those that are just joining us, like I said, I'm going through the authentic connection blueprint. I'm just talking about the first step of how you can generate leads on LinkedIn. And the first step of that is that we are in right now is how you fix your profile. So most people's profiles are meant for like, they talk about them, they talk their history and things like that. You need to switch your whole profile and think if someone visits your profile, what are they going to think about you? Are they going to know what you do? And are they going to know how they can help you? So that's the second piece. So we talked about the profile picture briefly. We talked about the banner image. We talked about the tagline. And then the next thing is the about section. So, hey, Dan, how's it going?
Hi, how are you? Sorry about that.
Hey, it's all good. And just as a side note, I mentioned this already at the beginning, but we barely promoted this webinar, but I still like to do it on a monthly basis. So I'm going to go through this from a standpoint of how people can implement this strategy and how they can generate leads on LinkedIn, but you also get a little bit of a one-on-one session as well. So if you have questions and things like that, don't be afraid to ask because my whole goal here is to help people understand how they can use a very simple LinkedIn strategy to generate their own leads. So just to take it one step back, what I call it is the authentic connection blueprint. And we're just going through the first stage of what you should fix on your profile so that when people go to your LinkedIn profile, they know who you help, how you help them, and why someone should connect with you. And you have to excuse my voice. I've been under the weather for the past couple days. I feel much better, but as you can hear, this is not my normal voice. So if you have questions, Dan, throw them in the chat or just unmute yourself. Would love to make that interaction from that side. Like I said, my whole goal is make sure that you understand how to use this strategy and what you can do with it. So those are the pieces that are on your top line of your profile. The next piece is your about section. So usually what most people do for their about section is that they use their about section to talk about basically their biography, what they've done in the past and things like that. If you're using LinkedIn to switch it over for lead generation, no one cares about that. What they care about in your about section is you got now a whole bunch of text that you can use that you want them to see more about how you can help them. So if they scroll down to your about section, this is an example of mine, is I start asking some questions to them. So are you tired of juggling the marketing hat while trying to be a top-notch insurance agent? Do you feel like you're hemorrhaging cash at a buffet of marketing software like HubSpot, Redtail? Is creating a scalable marketing system for your agency starting to feel like a daunting task? So what you want to switch this to is the framework for this is very simple. Is you want to come up with some questions, and you can use Chat GPT or anything out there to come up with these pain points. So ask questions that would get their attention of why they should read the rest of your about section. So the first concept is asking questions. And these questions need to be pain points for your target marketplace. Then you talk a little bit about how you've solved that problem and why they should listen to you. So, been in the insurance game for 15 years. I joke around about the licensing class, teaching all about marketing. So, think within that concept. Then you want to use a couple examples of people that you've helped in this section as well. So, again, questions that are pain points for them. Next, you want to talk about like why they should listen to you, basically. Um, and then next, you want to bring up a few examples and use some different examples of people that you helped and solved those questions, those problems for them. And then the last piece is you want to make sure that you give them a very simple call to action. So my call to action is send me a direct message on LinkedIn. So connect with me, send me a direct message on LinkedIn about it, and that helps out tremendously. Excuse me. So that's that piece, and then the last and final piece. This your experience isn't as important. Actually, there's two final pieces, but you do want to make sure that you at least have a logo um, on your experience page, just because, like I said, visually it looks better, and you want to give them a reason not to look away, basically. So make sure that your logo is on your experience page. Honestly, the text in here does not matter as much. They're just going to see, hey, your history and things like that. You can make this super, super easy. And then the last and final piece is your skills. So make sure you go into your skills and you add your skill pages and what you focus on and how you help people. And you can add whatever skills that you want to, just so that they can see that as well and they can endorse you if they want to. But like I said, skills from a hierarchy of what's really important, not as important as the top section here and your about section. Because when someone comes to a page, this is really the first thing that they see. And you want them to understand right away who you help, how you help them, and why someone should connect with you. So whenever you're analyzing your own page, you want to be asking yourself that question from their perspective. Is if someone comes to your LinkedIn page, are they going to understand those three things really, really quickly just by, a 5-second visual of what's going on? All right. So that's the LinkedIn profile page. I'm going to pause for a second. Is there any questions that you have? That, like I said, you're my guinea pig, Dan, so I get to ask you directly. Any questions that you have about the profile page itself?
No, I was just actually trying to pull up my profile page, and my computer just died, so I got it fixed
That's the
yesterday.
worst.
No, I fixed it yesterday, so thank God. But so I have to like re-enter all that stuff. So, but I'm looking at my profile page and seeing that um, it's interesting because it's right now it gives me nothing on my profile page. That's
Interesting. Actually, I'll if you want real quick, I'll find you. What's your if you want to put it, you should be able to find your profile.
Yeah, the profile that I pulled up, it looks like very sparse. It looks like like it just started, which is
Oh,
weird.
gotcha.
I'm
If you
sorry.
go into the contact info section, you can
Uh-huh.
pull that and you can throw it in the chat, and I'll you can take a look at it and give as well.
Oh,
And
I
just
think
copy and paste that profile link.
this is a different one than I've been using. That's
Oh,
it.
well, that might be something different. If you have a different, you might have logged into a different one.
Yeah, it looks like I
If you
did.
if you find the one, we could definitely talk about it. Talk a little bit about yours specifically. What I'll do is I'm going to flip over then, and I'm just going to give everyone a little bit more about the structure visually of how that works. But we can do some little one-on-one work afterwards, Dan.
Okay.
So recapping, I kind of went through this audibly and showing you on the page, but this is still step one of fixing your profile. But your about section, ask 2 to 3 problem questions your audience faces, tell your story, how you understand and solve these problems, share client success examples, include a clear call to action inviting connection. Now, just so that everyone knows, in your about section, even if you put a link in there, that link is not going to be clickable. They don't allow for a hyperlink in your about section. So usually you want to tell them to do something, not like say, hey, go to this link, because they're going to try clicking it and then it's just going to be like, well, it doesn't work. Why doesn't it work? So ideally, make it something simple where you're trying to get some direct communication. Your experience section, keep it concise, focus on credibility, and then again, make sure you add your skills and your recommendations as well. I didn't mention that as well, but I'm glad the presentation reminded me, is your recommendation section. That would be something that I would spend a little bit of time on as well, is finding a handful of people, I don't care who they are, that have worked with you in the past, uh, or you have helped them, and ask them to give you a recommendation on LinkedIn. And that will help tremendously as well. But that's the simplistic standpoint of how you fix your profile to switch from, trying to find a job to generating leads on LinkedIn, because your social media profile, your LinkedIn profile is viewable from Google. So if someone types in your name, unless you have your own domain, you bought your domain name as your name, and you have a website up and things like that, LinkedIn is actually one of the first things that pops up from a Google profile standpoint when you do a Google search. So the more that you can find this, perfect. The better you can get that organized, the better it's going to be for you, because when people search you up, they'll be able to find more information about you. All right, so now that you have that up, uh, and do you go by Daniel or Dan?
Um, Usually at work go by Daniel. But
Perfect.
you can call me Dan too. Everybody at my old job call me Dan, so it doesn't matter.
Perfect. So
But
Daniel, really quick analysis of looking at your profile. So love the picture. That's a good picture. Your profile picture. The background, like I said, it looks nice, but it doesn't. What I would do is switch it over to something that says, basically, the way I have it is, one of the structures is like frustrated people on the left side, happy people on the right side, and then your logo in the middle, and then what problem you solve, and make it one sentence, because you want to use your profile pictures as much as possible to tell them more about who you help, how you help them, and why they should connect with you. This picture, great, it's wonderful, but it doesn't help portray what you want to on that side.
right.
Um, so then the next thing, looking at this, is the tagline, or the headline. Is again the structure. One structure. There's lots of different structures you can use, but I would switch this over to not describing who you are, but describe who you help and how you help them. So the structure of just 3 things is: one, I help, and then the marketplace that you help, then the pain point that marketplace deals with, and then your solution. So who you help, their pain point, and your solution. That's what I would switch this tagline over, because when I go to this page, um,
When
I
you
can
say tagline,
see,
are you referring to the part that says financial services professional?
yes, that is correct.
Okay.
Yep, this section right here.
So I have
So,
a kind of a logo that I do on my business card, and it says helping protecting people's lives, or protecting people's lives and assets for over 25 years.
so again, those words mean something to us, but think
Uh-huh.
about it from their perspective. Um, does that solve any, like, is there any pain that's experienced from those words?
No. Okay. I got it.
That's the piece that I would start thinking about. Is that because people buy because of an emotional decision and then they back it up logically. They don't buy logically and then back it up emotionally. So
Okay.
what you're trying to elicit in your profile basically is an emotional response to something on your page that's like, oh, that really hurt, because people make decisions for two reasons: to either move away from pain or move closer to pleasure.
Okay.
So that's where I would switch that on that side. Even like I said, it makes sense, but from a very direct standpoint of making an elevator pitch that elicits pain or pleasure, like I said, that one doesn't do anything for anybody that's reading it, basically.
Got it.
Yeah. And then
Okay.
same thing with the about section. Again, people are going to look like this. The first thing that, and I know I'm going through this super quick and super bluntly, but when you start off something with I, everyone else that's reading this is like, well, I don't care about you yet. I don't know who you are yet.
Okay.
So that's why I said switch this over to looking more like this, where the first thing you want to do is ask them questions. Ask them questions that would create pain points for them when they read that. Because like I said, they don't care about you and your history and your past and things like that. They would
Okay.
care if they were trying to hire you, but not if they're trying to do business with you.
So that's weird. So I work for New York Life, and they actually monitor this very closely. As a matter of fact, I just got had a meeting about it yesterday. So
Yes.
this is kind of their, I wouldn't say recommendation, but they supervise all this stuff. And so
Yep.
this is their guidelines.
So let me put my compliance head on real quick. Or what, oh my gosh, someone put it the best way possible a long time ago. I always forget it. Um business prevention department. There we go.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, they're just, yeah, I'm telling you that yesterday I was really upset because I was really hot on the collar. They were like, someone else put up a video about me where they talk to
Mhm.
me with a microphone, and they're like, "Hey, you got to take this down." And I'm like, "How am I going to take that down? That's not even my website." And it's like, "Well, you
No.
can't put Instagram on." And they're like, "No, you got to make that person take it down." I go, "I'm not going to make that person take it down. That's stupid." It's like one of the dumbest things
Yep.
I've ever heard.
Oh, it's amazing. Anyways, I won't get on that soapbox too much. So from that standpoint, I totally hear you. So you'll have to deal with the red tape of compliance, and if it's worth it to make it back and forth, but make the back and forth if it ends up being worth it, because I totally get that they may put the kibosh on that completely because it doesn't even fly with their compliance department. I'm going to be talking about this from the perspective of like this is how I teach it, and a lot of people that are working these strategies in the insurance space, they are a little bit more, they're more independent on the independent side. If you're working for a New York Life, a State Farm, like things like that, you got to follow their guidelines and rules, because I know too often and too many people that they ask for forgiveness rather than permission, and
Right.
they get neither.
Okay.
So definitely you have to follow the guidelines and rules. I'm treating this from the perspective of, like I said, this is how the strategy works, but you also have to, like I said, you have to follow the rules and guidelines that they're after. So
Okay.
now, like I said, even from that standpoint, uh, even if you don't do that, it's not going to kill it. It's not like everyone's reading your about section anyways. this is just one thing that helps within that for those conversions as people see you. If you can if you can get through compliance this section where you can change the headline here, change the picture, that would help tremendously already. So, but that's the profile section. So any other questions that you have, Daniel, on the profile
No,
side?
I just yeah. So you understand my problems then?
All I can say is good luck, sir.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay.
so let me then, I'm going to switch over then, and I'll switch back to the presentation, and I'll kind of, like I said, walk through the rest of the strategy. That was the first section on dealing with the profile. Um, the next section is then very simple tracking system. Now, to take a step back, this is not something that like we're not automating this whole process because the automation side is it's great. You can do a lot of things with it. But in this, especially with all the AI stuff and all the automation, things like that, people are craving connection and relationship. And so this is kind of the strategy that I teach on that allows you to do that. That's why it's called the authentic engagement blueprint, uh, not the automated engagement blueprint. So the second piece of this is I have a tracking sheet that I won't go through in depth. It's very, very straightforward. I will share it with you at the end, and you can just make a copy of it and utilize it. But basically, what it's going to allow you to do is track the profile that you're working with when you send them a message, when you like and endorse their page, when you send them a video message and things like that afterwards. It has all the categories on there. It just gives you a nice tracking sheet to be able to see what's going on. So it's not complicated. I'm not going to go through it hugely, but that's one thing that I'll share with everyone is that tracking sheet on how that works. Because, like I said, it's very simple to use, and I'll go through it as an example at the very end of how I utilize it. But you'll get that tracking sheet. Is this a nice Google sheet that everyone can use that has all these categories: name, date added, connection, follow up notes, profile, endorsement, response, call schedule, things like that. So I'll show you what that looks like and how to utilize it afterwards. The next thing then, now I'll reveal myself from a transparency standpoint. I was actually going to have a guest on, but they actually had an emergency that they had to deal with. So I literally made this presentation using AI on something that I've taught on this many times, but I didn't change around the stuff. So you're going to see some things that are from my perspective of how we're searching for people. So just switch it to some of your language. But next, we're going to talk about is identifying and the right prospects. So first thing that you're going to want to do on this is create what's called your ideal client profile. Daniel, out of curiosity, have you ever done that before?
No.
Okay. There's another thing that I will give to you specifically that I won't go through. Do you use Have you been using Chat GPT at all?
Not really. I don't trust it.
That's that we won't get on that side of it. That's a whole other conversation. I definitely understand that piece. One of the things that I teach on using it is how to use AI to create your ideal client profile. So it asks you some questions, and then it does all the research of the demographics, the psychography, how they think, where you find them, and things of that nature. So I'll send over something to you later that might help out with that. But the reason that you want to create that ideal client profile is because that's going to then help you create some of the keywords that you would then use in your searches on LinkedIn. Now, two things on LinkedIn, because I mentioned this at the very beginning, but technically you don't need a single tool to implement this strategy. You don't need to buy anything extra. You can do this all on your own. If you do want to make this easier, then I would highly recommend getting Sales Navigator, the Advanced Plus version. And there'll be one reason that I share why, uh, and we'll get into that. But like I said, you can do it without that. So we're going to talk about the searches right now, but you basically take those keywords and you use it for your marketplace. So if it's business owners, and I would even try narrowing it down even more because business owners is going to be a large categories. is, doctors or restaurants or things of that nature, whatever those keywords are of your target marketplace that you really want to work with, or nurses or things of that nature, those are the keywords that you want to be able to put into your search on LinkedIn. So those examples that I use, just flip those examples over to yours. Now, are you familiar with Boolean searches, or have you heard the term? I'm being fancy now so I can pretend like I know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, that's, I
Have
mean,
you,
there's like Boolean's math related, right? Isn't it like a,
a, a little bit in the search category, it's using like quotations or parentheses or and or the statements and things like that. So that when you do searches, you can be very specific. So a very easy example of a Boolean search is if I go to LinkedIn and I type in insurance agent, then what it's going to do is it's going to look for those two words separately in every profile. So it finds the words insurance, or if it finds the word agent, it's going to find any profile that has either one of those words. That's what's going to include in the search. Now, if I include a quotations around that though, then what that does then it only is looking up that phrase. It'll only find where it says insurance agent, and it has to be together like that. So that's what Boolean searches do, is where you can, and literally you can just Google how to do Boolean searches, and it will teach you all the tricks of quotations, parentheses, and or statements and things like that. And that helps you narrow down your search tremendously. Uh, so that's why we talk about Boolean searches on here, because it's going to narrow down your search, because you don't want a search that's too wide. You want to narrow it down pretty as specific that you can. So you're really finding about between 1,000 to maybe 5,000 profiles in LinkedIn. So we'll go over that in a second as well. Just a couple examples. Now, part of the strategy, and we're getting into the meat of it in a second, is this last part where it says prioritizing users who have posted within the past 30 to 60 days. In If you just have regular LinkedIn, you don't have Sales Navigator Advanced Plus, that filter option is not available. So, and there's going to be a reason for that I'll talk about in a second of how the strategy works. But that's the reason, that's one of the main reasons that you get it. So you have some more filters that you can use so you can narrow down your search. And I'll tell you why that's important in a second. But like I said, you can find those people as well. You just have to go through some profiles um, and look up their last posts and stuff like that. So we're going to show some real life examples in a second. But that's the important piece about the identifying, researching your prospects is one, make your ideal client profile, like who your target marketplace is, define them a little bit, figure out the keywords that of where you can find those people, and put those into the search function in LinkedIn. And then you want to focus on second degree connections, because third degree, it just, you have more likeness to them. Basically, they're already connected with someone that you know, so they'll see when you connect with them how many other people that you're connected with them you're connected with that also know are connected with them as well, and that'll help in your conversions and connectivity. And then the last piece is we want to prioritize users that have posted in the last 30 to 60, 90 days. And we'll get into why in a second. All right. So here's the engagement. Like I said, I'm gonna teach the strategy and then we'll go through a couple examples. But here's your engagement flow of how it works. And this is why you want to find the people that have posted in the past 30 to 60 days. Is you're going to find that profile, you're going to find out who they are, you're going to go to their profile, and you're going to go, before you even connect with them, you're going to go to their last post that they did. And then you're going to like their last post, and then you're going to make a real comment, not something like one sentence or, hey, cool post or anything like that. You want to make it real, like put some actual thought into it. Whatever their post is, comment on that post and make it a real comment that actually shows that you read some of their information. Basically, you're not doing a sales pitch within it either. You're just making an authentic comment. So you're liking it and you're commenting it. After you've done that, then you go and hit the connect button. And in the connection request, add a note and say, hey, Daniel, I liked and commented on your last post about the specific topic. Hope you don't mind, would love to connect. It's as simple as that. So that message will increase the amount of connection requests that you get accepted by, I mean, I'm not making up numbers. Literally could be as high as 100 to 200%. So in my example directly, when I was using automated tools to connect with people, out of every 10 people that I sent a connection request to that I wasn't doing this on, about 2 to 3 of them would connect with me just automatically because I sent them a connection request. When I started doing this strategy, literally I would have 8 to 9 people hit the connection button because they saw that note that I liked and commented, and I mentioned the post, and they connected with me almost instantly from that. That made a huge difference in my connections. It's a little bit more manual work, but that manual work, that's why it's an authentic engagement campaign, because you actually spent 5-10 minutes out of your day to go look at their post, like their post, and comment on their post. And that makes a world of difference to them. So not only did they get the notification that you liked their post, they also got the notification that you commented on their post. Then they get a message, connection request from you. So that's a third notification that says the post that you commented on and that you liked it. So I want to pause there for a second. Does that make sense on how that part works?
Yeah.
So that's a big deal within the engagement campaign. So now, once that's done, then and they've accepted the connection request, then you're going to go back to their page and you're going to endorse their top 3 skills. Doesn't matter what they are. Just go to their page and endorse their top 3 skills. And then after you've done that, you're going to send them a personal video message. So take a pause for a second. The average sale is made within the 7th to 10th touch. Not average. I apologize. The vast majority, literally, it's about 80% of all sales are made within the 7th to 10th touch. You have now, at this point, before you even send this video message, you've at least touched them 4 times. You like their page, they got a notification, you like their post, comment on your post, sent them connection request, and you endorse their skills. They've now seen your name 4 times at this point. Then you're going to send a personal video message. Now, this is not a feature that most people know about, that LinkedIn even has the capability of doing, because you can't do it on your computer. You have to use your phone for this. So what you do is after they accept the connection request, you're going to go on your phone and then you're going to go to their LinkedIn page and you're going to go to messages. And in the messages, there's a photo button. You click the photo button and then you can convert it and change that to a video. And the reason that you want to do it using that strategy and not anything else is because LinkedIn, Facebook, doesn't matter what social media platform, their whole goal of what they're trying to do is to keep you on their platform. So when you're using the tools that they have access to, and it keeps people on that platform and they don't have to click to a URL that takes them away from the platform, they will fully support that. So that's why you're not going to send them like a Loom video or a BombBomb video or record a video and then put it in there. You're going to use the function that's in LinkedIn. So literally, I'll walk through the steps because I'm not showing it on my. I know I'm not showing my phone, but you can go to any profile that you want, and the steps are: you go to their profile, you hit the message button, and then now I'm an Android user, not an Apple user. It should be the same thing, but there's a little plus button when you go in there. And what you're looking for then is the camera button. So you hit the plus button, then you hit the camera button, and then you'll see where you can take a picture or you can click over and make a video. And that video is what's going to be super important because when you make that video, it's going to show a clip of that video as it sends out to them. And almost no one is doing this on LinkedIn, like hands down, no one. There's probably, I'm, I have to look at the statistic, but it's probably like 0.5 to 1% of all the entire users on LinkedIn that are using the feature like this. And what you want to do during that video then is, first off, you'll set up your phone. And what I would highly recommend is getting a piece of paper, or like if you have a Remarkable or an iPad or something like that, whatever it is, put their name on the um, on that piece of paper. So right away that they know that you made this video specifically for them. Like it's not uh, a video, an automated video or things like that. That makes a huge deal. So you're gonna put their name on there on the piece of paper. Then you're going to give them a very short, this should be honestly 45 seconds to a minute long. And it sounds something like this. Hey, Daniel, wanted to send something personal to prove I'm not AI or a bot or anything like that. And you can change it to your own thing. Thanks for connecting. I saw you've been in, and then mention something about what industry they're in or something about their profile. So, Daniel, I saw you've been in the industry for, let's see, I'll use it for you. Perfect. So, hey, I see that you've been in the industry for over 5 years at this point, and that you were a county deputy for years before that. So mention something about their profile. That's absolutely awesome. I'd love to learn more about what you're working on and share how we help people just like you, agents just like you, grow their production and simplify their marketing. Would you be open to a quick 10-minute call sometime? And that's all that looks like. One other section that I might put, that I usually put in there, it didn't get into the script, but is after you share something about how you help them, say, hey, what I always do when I'm connecting with people is I love answering any questions that you have about, and then whatever the things that you help solve. So in my case, it'd be any questions about marketing or lead generation or CRMs or things like that. Love to answer those questions. Would you be open to a quick 10-minute call sometime? And that's the script. That script right there, it's a video. This is now their fifth touch point. It's very passive. You're not asking for a sale, you're asking for a conversation and to answer some of the problems that they might deal with. And that's why you're using about 2 to 3 things. So try to figure out the things within that target marketplace that they might be struggling with. Um, and that's what I would use then as in the video. And like I said, that's literally 30 seconds to a minute long. It's not longer than that. So you can do a lot of them if you hit those connection requests and send over a video. And all you're asking them for is 10 minutes. Now, in in meeting speak, that 10 minutes is really asking for 30 minutes usually, but you're making it a low time frame so that you don't have to spend tons of they don't feel like they have to spend tons of time. And like I said, you're already telling them what you can solve for them, and how you help people just like them. And that's really what gets them interested in getting a phone call. So same thing here. I've used automated platforms. I have close to 12,000 connections on LinkedIn for a long, long time. Automated platforms did not get me the engagement that I got from doing videos like this. So if I was using like literally maybe I say it was like 0.5 out of 10 people. It's like 0.2 actually of people when I was using automated platforms to send out messages to people that would respond back to those messages. Where when I sent a personalized video, that jumped up from like 0.2, 0.5 to more around 4 or 5 people that would respond and engage with me and book a call just to have a brief conversation. You're not even doing a Zoom or anything like that at this point. You're literally just say, hey, let's chat for 10 minutes because you connect with me. They've already appreciated that you liked and commented, endorsed, connected with them. Everything that you've done at this point is personalized to them. They would have no idea that you might be sending messages like this out to 100 other people. So I'm going to pause. That was a lot of talking going through that side of the strategy. Any questions on that level of connection and like that type of script and things like that.
No, I
Cool.
do something just like that for on my network. It pops up and it says Nathan's having a birthday today. So I'll just go, hey Nathan, happy birthday. But I don't add the part about, I see that how long you've been working or whatever, and I don't do the little sign. But I
Yep,
do make sure it's like this kind of scenery where it's like you can tell it's not AI,
exactly.
you
And
know.
that's from birthday messages and things like that. You don't want to do anything about and asking them. You're just congratulating them on what, like, whether it work thing or things like that. This strategy works after that time period, after you connect with them. But yeah, what you're doing on that side, continue doing that piece because, like I said, that's just another touch point that they're seeing you. Um, this one is specifically getting more directly to the end goal of what you want to get to, which is booking an appointment with them and having a conversation. And like I said, that video feature helps tremendously. And like I said, almost no one knows about it or is using it because you can't do it on your computer. You have to use the phone and you have to go through those steps, the plus button, the camera, and then switching over to video to even find it. Excuse me. But yeah, like I said, this is not a hard strategy. It does take time. So what I usually when I recommend this and coach people on it, this is usually a strategy that if you really want to implement it, I would recommend spending about an hour a day on this strategy. So an hour a day is you going out and finding the right people, liking and commenting, sending the connection request, and then after you start doing that initially and you started getting some connection requests back, then it's doing the video. And once you get the script down really well, and understanding that piece, like I said, you can run through a video like this in literally a minute or two, even if you have to retake it once. And does not matter if you mess up. Like I said, it's at all. Like keep the mess up in there, and then you go to the next person, the next person, next person, and then you're using the Excel spreadsheet to record how all that what that looks like, basically. So that's that side of the strategy. Uh, then the last next piece is the follow up. Then so once you sent that request, then you're just giving small nuggets, nudges if you don't hear a response after 3 to 5 days. Now, LinkedIn especially, LinkedIn, a lot of people don't check their DMs on a regular basis. Like it's not like email or text or things like that, where, and that's why one of the advantages of this is for those that are like have busy full days or things like that, you can do this early in the morning, you can do this late at night. There's really no time frame to do it in because the notification is still going to be there. When they finally log into their LinkedIn and they see a message, they'll at least check it. So if you don't hear a response back to them about 3 to 5 days, just give them another nudge. And ideally, like I said, optionally adding that note again about their post or things like that. And even if you want to be more specific, if they just posted something as well, or you saw something else that you can engage with them, make it a personal note of what you saw about what they posted or the last thing. Those are good ways to do that as well. Or you can go back and even one of the things that I've done is I've gone back into their profile and found a different post and liked and commented on as well and said, hey, appreciate the connection. Love this appreciate the connection, love this post, and then comment about that post as well. Again, more times that they can see your name, more times they're gonna be like, oh, this guy keeps on talking to me. And like I don't feel it doesn't feel slimy or anything like that. It just feels like you're actually trying to engage with them and want to talk to them, and you're giving them a benefit of giving them likes and comments and stuff like that. The only other thing that I'll mention on the follow-up side as well, so that's all within the LinkedIn platform. But after you connect with them, if you go to their profile and they have any contact information whatsoever, so they have their phone number on there, they have an email on there, try taking this offline. So then start sending a follow-up message in specific reference to the LinkedIn connection and the post and things like that. So that's next level of being able to do engagement and follow up from that standpoint is don't just do it on LinkedIn if you can find their information in their contact profile or find them on another social media platform. So say they're on Facebook or TikTok or you find their website as well. Um, There's lots of different ways you can engage with people. The more doorways that you can walk them through, the more times they're going to see your information, and the more and when you actually haven't asked for them to do something, that's where they're going to be like, oh yeah, I actually do want to do see what is going on with this person and what they're offering. So that would be my only other comment on the follow-up side is yes, send them a message on LinkedIn, but try to take that offline as well and do both. And then daily activity plan, and then we're going to wrap up real quick at the end with just going through a quick example. But routine, I already mentioned it. Really, for this strategy to work, I would allocate at least an hour a day. You're searching, and you can search more profiles, especially at the beginning. So really, the 3 to 5 new profiles is when you start having profiles that you've already like, say you've got 20, 30 profiles that have connected with you, and then you're spending a decent amount of your time doing the videos, and then but you want to keep on making sure that part of your hour within that hour is getting new profiles, so you're constantly have a new source of leads basically that you're talking to. But the routine looks like that: searching profiles, liking, commenting on posts, sending the personalized connection requests, tracking everything on the spreadsheet, recording and sending the video messages, and then endorsing and then doing the follow-up as needed. That'll take about an hour a day. Don't get too crazy. If you want to double down on it, you can do it 2 hours. But I wouldn't go beyond that, but make it the biggest thing with this strategy is make it consistent. Because it's not like you're going to start doing this the first week and it's like, oh, I didn't get any results and give up on it. That's not how it's going to work. I would give this honestly a good, if you're going to implement this strategy, do it for 3 months solid, 1 hour a day, make the commitment, and you'll see leads and conversations start to happen from this strategy alone. I won't put my guarantee stamp of approval on it because nothing's ever guaranteed. But I've seen hundreds of people use this strategy. I've helped implement it with myself. It's a very good one. And like I said, there's no AI on this side. It's you doing, that's why it's called the authentic engagement blueprint. So if that looks like this is really what this is expected results, honestly. 5 connections a day for 30 days. Now, you should reduce that down because you're not going to do this on weekends and things like that. So it's really like 22 days, which translates to about 100 new prospects. 20% conversion ratio, that means that you should be having about 20 to 30 new appointments from this strategy. That's really what that looks like as this gets going, especially as you're doing the follow-up.
No.
So this is a quick summary profile of the 7 steps: profile optimization, prospect search, engagement, connection, endorse and video, track, and then follow up. And then here's some example metrics of what that looks like. So with that said, these are just some reminders and principles. Again, be authentic, not automated, focus on relationships, measure progress, and then consistency over volume. Those are my biggest hints on that side to help out with those pieces. But I will pause. That is the gist of the strategy that I wanted to teach on, and I'm glad that I got on video. I teach it on a regular basis on one-on-ones and things like that. But this is a strategy that's tremendously helped me out. It's helped a lot of insurance agents as well. You can apply to multiple industries. But I'm going to pause, see if there's any other questions before I do a quick wrap up. And
No,
Daniel,
actually, but I do have another appointment I got to get to. So thank you very much.
you get to that. I'll make sure that you get the recording and the Excel spreadsheet and things like that. But appreciate you jumping on, Daniel. Hope you got some
Thanks.
value out of it, and you have a
Thanks.
great day.
You take care.
All right. So from that standpoint, the things that are included in this that I'm going to include in this concept and this strategy is one, the GPT that you can put into your chat GPT that will help you create your ideal client profile. I'm also going to include the authentic engagement blueprint spreadsheet so that you have something that you can track this on. And then number 3 is the recording itself of how this works. So really hope this information was valuable. I won't go into a deep dive and talk about how things work. If you want to have a one-on-one, we can definitely talk. There are some other strategies and things like that. I will say this is my super soft sell of our system afterwards. Is this is a strategy everyone can implement. Like I said, literally you can do this at no extra cost, unless you wanted to bring on Sales Navigator Advanced Plus, which is, I apologize, one last thing. If you want that, find me on LinkedIn and send me a direct message. I can give you an extra month for free just by referring it over. So awesome strategy from that standpoint. Here's my super soft sell for our system. So this strategy is great. One of the next things is that you want to get this information into a CRM, and you want to start sending out automated and personalized messages to that database on a regular basis. If that's something that you want to be interested in doing, we have a platform for that. We also have tools and direct integrations that you can get that would then take the connections that you're going on there and then send it to your CRM. So we have some awesome things on that end, but that's my soft sell for our platform. We call it the Lift Marketing System. It's going to get you our CRM. We'll completely set it up for you. It's going to get you a website that looks professional, personalized, that's connected to your CRM. We're going to help you set up the automated and personalized messages that your contact list would be able to get. And we also have a community to help you show you how to use these tools and do things just like we taught here. So if you're interested in that, you can go to go.bluerocketagency.com. Very simple. That you can see a live demonstration of how we go through the system and things like that, because I know people need to see and feel it kind of a little bit and understand how it works. So if you want to see and feel it, register for, we do that webinar on a weekly basis and teaching how to do it. That is much more of a sales pitch on how to do it, on how our system works. So go check that out. Go to go.bluerocketagency.com, and that will get you into one of our next webinars in which we will do a demonstration of the system. With that said, everyone, make it a fantastic day. Hope you got value out of this, and I'll look forward to hearing back from you sometime in the future. Talk to you later.